So my name is Macy, and I'm the captain of Team 14361.
I'm Lu Yang. I'm the vice president.
I'm Ian. I'm head of and I'm Adam.
Okay, and so as he mentioned, we most recently competed at MTI in Maryland at Johns Hopkins, and we were a part of, we were a part of the finalist alliance, and then we also won the Control and Innovate Award multiple times last season, and then we were ranked number one at our division at Worlds this past year.
And Counterspringing when your slides become more and more so it makes the slides very efficient. We can also use Counterspringing and we will focus on Counterspringing that works and this will work with continuous string. That's what we did, but in theory it should work with cascade.
So the question might be why we use tunnel? And first of all, it's kind of like reduces attention time of looking at slides. And from our experience, it also reduces like power or issues. Powers or issues are kind of like, it might cause disconnect to robots. It slows down your overall robot. So we can mitigate this problem by using parts that use the most power. And this is the example of like surgical tubing. And the other example is from road resistance. They use normal counterspring for some reason. I mean, normal spring for their virtual roll. And for project they use counterspring of theirs.
So these are the different types of common counterspringing you'll find in FTC. So we use constant torque. That's one that is on our bot right now. They provide a constant force throughout the entire rotation of the spring. So that's what we use, and we definitely recommend that you use these. You can also use a constant force spring, which provides a force throughout its entire extension. These are used more for like if you want to counterspring like an arm that moves like linearly, say like up and down. And also another way is with surgical tubing. Depending on how you implement it, it should be easier and more. You can just adjust as you need. Java the Huts did it, and they did it really well. Also, something to note is that while it's possible to use a constant force spring to counterspring your linear sides, the force will not be constant, and they do break down faster and eventually break. So we definitely recommend using constant torque spring.
So this is the first design that we came up with. We had a lot of trouble with the current drop because our motor was fighting gravity. So this not only made the slide slope off the drivetrain, and we're also going to disconnect because we're drawing too much current. So we didn't mechanically link our slides, but it is recommended you should mechanically link your slides in the future. And we had problems because we didn't mechanically. So,
Yes, hold.
Taking most of our power was coming from our slides just because they were so heavy. And so we decided that to fix this problem, we could counterspring them because it reduces the rate drastically. I think before this, it was taking around like 5 pounds to lift them. Now it's like less than a pound. But to test after we decided, we found out that this was our problem, and we decided, okay, we should counterspring them. We ran into another problem. Traditionally, people counterspring like cascade strung slides because it's easier to implement counterspringing. Because with continuous rigging, you have to implement a spring on each side usually, but then we created our own modules And so to test our principle, we actually dissected a measuring tape and we took out a measuring that you find in watches and clock axle where you see the modules are now. And it worked. And we kept that for like about a month. I don't know, but it did increase our slides extension time. And yeah, so we kept that on for about a month, but then we wanted something more robust. And that's when we decided to make our own module. So here it is. And basically how it works is, so there's always going to be a constant force of gravity being applied to these strings here, right? And so this string is attached to the spool. And so the spool then translates that constant force of gravity into a torsion force. And then on the other side, a constant torque force is being also applied to the axle through this constant torque spring. And so the most important numbers we used for our calculations were 1, the weight of our lift or system, and then 2, the radius of our spools. And so during this process, this is actually what we changed the most. We had to scale our spools like multiple times. I think we went through like 3 different radii of spools, because if you're getting too much force, then you need to like expand the radii of your spool, or too little, then you increase it. And I'll get into the actual materials. Okay, and so here's a model that we have. So what the module is actually made of is the two clear plates that you see on the outside are 1/4-inch poly that we custom machined in-house. And then the 2 white drums in the middle, the one that holds the spring and is attached to the spring, and then the white casing on the outside, it's 3D printed PLI filament, and then other like materials, and then obviously the constant torque spring. And then I also want to emphasize, traditionally people use constant force springs when they're counterspringing things, but we use a constant torque spring because this is rotational motion. With a constant force spring, you're getting like, it's a constant linear force throughout its linear draw. And with a constant torque spring, you're getting that rotational motion. And so here are the instructions of like how to make it. It's actually relatively simple. All you really do is attach the spring onto the top drum, and then you put it in, and then you just have to cut off a piece and then screw it into the bottom drum, and you just attach it onto the axle that is attached to your spool with your rigging. So yeah, and then also another tip when we were doing this, because some people try to recreate it, because we did like put it out on Discord. For this screw on the bottom drum that screws in the spring, you want to use a flatter head screw, because if you use a taller screw and it's being twisted over that, then it'll ruin the spring, and then it won't work. And then here are tips and what we wish we did differently. So obviously our module was made to work around our already built-in continuous stringing. However, it should be able to work with cascade stringing, which is what Glenn mentioned. And then treat the springs with care. They are dangerous if not covered. I think I cut my fingers like multiple times working with these springs. And then also try to get as little of a bump as possible, which is what I was talking about with the screw. And then packaging, if you recreate it, we really want to see if people are able to package it differently than us. We made the modules after our bot was made, so we made it to work around what we had, but we think it can be packaged in many different ways, and so we're really interested to see what other teams could come up with.
So any questions? So we have one question from online. How much would a counterspring module cost?
I think the total cost for like the whole module itself is like around like $50, including like all the materials, so like screws, things. So,
Poly. Yeah, so that's it for now. Questions? Yeah, other questions.
Okay.
Does anyone else from the audience have any questions?
Where'd you buy them?
I think I thought someone said Vulcan Springs, but I don't think it's Vulcan Springs. It was a while ago we bought them. It's
Am
like
I gonna find these things on Amazon?
no, not on
No.
Amazon. We have it linked in
Yeah.
our like,
It's on Discord. If you search on Discord, like on the Orange FTC server, to search up Counterspring, you should come up with a Google Drive. I
it's
can
a
like send
really
it to whoever
random
wants it.
website.
Yeah, I can send it to whoever wants it.
Did you do any like small calculations to see like how much energy you'd be saving, or something like how much help does it really give to the slides?
Well, obviously, we did calculate that it was like, it took, it was 5 pounds for the motors to work against before, and now it's like less than a pound.
We have another online question. How many iterations did you do?
So with this we had 2 iterations, I guess, with the actual module, obviously with the measuring tape core. And then we had this module that we made that we've never really changed. The only thing we really changed with this module was just the radius of the spool. That's like what we changed multiple times. For creating what? Sorry. Oh yeah, we do. So like the slide inserts here, it's all 3D printed. Our arm 3D printed. Obviously parts of the module are 3D printed, and our control hub covers are also 3D printed.
I guess I have a more basic question. So you guys probably use like some kind of like CAD software.
Yeah.
And like, what is your process from going from like CAD to real life, and like what softwares do you use?
So we use Fusion 360. It's kind of just, I don't really know. We had
we
the same-
brainstorm a lot. Like we
Yeah.
brainstorm like a ton beforehand before we even like touch the computer. So like we figured by the time we are on our computer, we pretty much know like what we want in CAD, and then after that we just make it off the CAD.
Yeah.
The CAD is just to make sure it's like feasible, pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of, I know it's really popular, like with Gatorbytes, they made like 5 different CADs of their bot. We've had like basically one CAD that we've added on to all season, and we've had the bot, like it's been the same since like the beginning, and we've only really ever added on things. We've never like had like a rebuild or anything. So
Should there be bottlenecks between your hardware and software if you spend so much time on all this? All-nighters before competition.
Not really. We just like we like split like hardware software well, and like, we have like good we try to have good communication, right? And communicate well between teammates.
honestly, like programming, it has been like the least amount of time for us. Like really the longest time we've spent with programming is just like auto, obviously. And so, but it's pretty, everything else like to implement with programming has been like relatively easy. So. Oh,
Like underneath the drivetrain.
oh,
Oh no, we don't.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah, so, your spring and your, the spool, share a shaft, right?
they're on the same
Yeah.
axle. It's all on one axle.
So it's basically, it's the shaft and
So, like-
the
like
spool
GG.
size, that's kind of like your ratio.
CDA is next.
Yeah,
Runs
this is
CDA.
this is like our collaboration. Yeah. We use that more.
Since you already counterbalance the battery very well, do you think it's a good idea just putting one more or two?
One more counter spring.
No, the motor, you're using 2 motors, right?
Oh yeah, we
So
Yeah.
do you think that turn it to 1 motor is better?
one.
Because you don't need that much power anymore, you're balanced very well.
Yeah, we haven't really done that.
Yeah.
Maybe,
Alright,
Like the only thing we like would say for other teams to do is like, this is what we wish we did, and we talked about it. It's like just mechanically link your spools, because obviously we have the 2 sides attached in the middle, but they're each different. And so we wish we mechanically linked them, because we have issues with like it being read that one side is higher than the other, and when it's really not. And then it just like caused like code issues, and then also like bevel tolerance.
Oh yeah, the backlash on doubles is like really bad
Yeah.
on our
So-
roulette. So. That was like one thing. Is there anything else?
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Thank you.